And, of course, we will speak to Dermot throughout the rest of the season. So that was the action on the pitch. But let me tell you, it is always fun and indeed a privilege to watch this particular fixture with these two particular gentlemen.
Oh! Hang on in there, boys. Oh, ball! Yes! Come on! That's a red card.
Yeah! Yes! Oi, oi. Here we go. Go on, boys. Hey, hey! Ah! Yes! Come on! Come on, Ansel! Yes, you're right, Jim. It's not done. It's not done. Well, yeah, Abo! What a save! What a save! Come on, get in there. Get inside. Look at no one in the box.
Give him it. Give him it. Give him it.
Come on, lads!
No! No! Oh, what a save! He's in. He's in! Oh, what a tackle.
Yes! Yes! Come on! Yes! This is a top performance! Oh, this is unbelievable. I can't tell you how unbelievable this result is for us so far. If we can do this up there.
That made me cry.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And we're going to finish up with some categories because we're getting to the end of the season of your two respective clubs as we've got you here.
What's your overriding emotion after that? What takes precedence? Is it pride or happiness?
Well, extremely happy, obviously, and then pride, and very proud of the players, the way they handle the environment, an incredible team. I think the team that has a lot of things that they do extremely well, and we handled that really well. There was some emotion still for what happened here, and in a sport, when they give you another opportunity, you have to make sure that you learn from it and you approach it in a different way. And I saw that bite, that fight, and that blood in their eyes today to do it in a different way.
And how much did you help with that? We've heard from Aaron Ramsdale and a few of the other players shedding light on the fact you showed them the part of the documentary from last year and the defeat at Newcastle. So is that part of the learning from experience?
For sure, you don't learn, and we had to get back to that feeling to really understand. It's not enough talking about it. We have to see our faces, our emotion, not only the players, but all the staff involved on the day, how it was, and you don't want to be like this no more. It's a horrible feeling. It really gets into you. And you have to show, today we have to show a different kind of competitiveness and desire, and then the quality that we show to win the game.
And not just today, the Chelsea game as well is all off the back of the defeat at Manchester City. So is that the most recent example of learning?
Yes, but you have to continue to go. We've done it for 10 months. We have to keep digging every single day. The demands are incredibly high. We know that, but we are doing what we have to do is to win football matches again, performing really well, competing really well, and it's 3 games to go, and we are still there.
What about your midfield today? Jorginho's come in, exceptional performance the last couple of games, and your captain does it again.
He was incredible, and it was a really physical game for him, and sometimes you think is at the right moment. He completely controlled the game. In many moments he gave a lot of security and leadership to the team, and I'm very pleased with that.
And looking at that midfield fight, you said it was physical. Would you have fancied playing in that one?
To be fair, before the game I felt that I would put my boots on today, because the atmosphere was incredible, and that's what you want. You're playing for a championship. We guarantee second place. Let's go for it. Let's keep digging and digging and digging and see what is there.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you. All that. I think the word to describe it is pride. When you have question marks, you have to resolve those question marks straight away. And when you had the emotions that we had last year in that dressing room, you have to make sure that you feel them again, to realize how difficult, how nasty, and how unpleasant they are. And then you have to find a way to approach the game in a different way, because the demands were going to be higher than last year, and I think the boys did that extremely well, so I'm really proud of them.
Martin, I think, talked before the game about you have the team meeting this morning to remind them of that?
We had to feel it. I think it wasn't enough just talking about it. We had to feel it, we have to see it, we have to recognize our faces. Not only the players, what it meant for the staff as well. And that's football, you know, you can win, lose, but that feeling, it was beyond something, and that we didn't do enough in the day, and we had to put that right today.
How did you see them respond when you showed them those clips?
I was looking at the video, so I didn't see their faces. But you don't have to be a genius to understand how painful it was. So the word was pain, and then desire for revenge, and I think they had that today in their bellies for sure.
How happy were you with the way your team managed the game today?
Really good. That was going to be a key thing. It was only about playing or dominating certain phases. Is game management against them is something huge. The way they play, the way they manage the game, and we had to do that even better than them. And I'm really happy how we done it.
You had some great wins this year in sort of different ways. Where did today rank in terms of performance and the way you had to see that game out and make real pressure?
Today feels the best because the last one and the one on the day feels the day. But we have won in very difficult grounds this season. We've done it really consistently, as you said, in different ways. This game demanded something different to Stamford Bridge or playing against the Spurs. But we did what the game demanded, and that was really smart from us.
And Eddie suggested he felt that the penalty incident and the whole delay really affected his team. How pleased were you with how your team responded, obviously going up there and scoring?
Yeah, for sure. It was very early in the game, and they started the game really bright, and I could have changed the course of the game. I don't know. And minutes later, we scored the goal. Obviously, that gave us composure and some calm and some ability as well to control the game and play the game that they want to play, very far from what they actually could do, and obviously that helped.
Was this almost the opposite to the display you put in here last season?
It was very different, that's for sure, yes. It was needed. If not, you don't win here. They are a better team. They are very well coached. The atmosphere they created is incredible, you know, so we needed a much better performance than any game that we have played this season. I said to the players, to win today, you're going to have to be individually the best performance of the season. If not, you're not going to win here.
And how important was it also to show Man City that you're still fighting in the title race and try and take it to the end?
That we are there, that we want to keep digging, you know, that the prize is there, not too far, and the only thing we can do is keep insisting and don't turn our backs and lose the focus on something else. Is be determined every single day. Let's keep going and see what happens.
Nick at the back.
Hi, Mikel. Can you just give us your thoughts on Martin Odegaard? He scored a great goal, but he also sort of brought the team together at that difficult time when Newcastle were starting so well.
Yes, I think the leadership he's showing and the level of consistency, which is what you demand for those leaders, you know, that is not moments, it's just every single day. And at home and away, he had some huge performances. He's really helping the team. He's growing in the right direction, and we are all very happy to have him.
Last couple.
Hi, Mikel. One man's game management is another man's time wasting, I guess. Do you think the team were guilty of that today, or was it just about managing the team?
For sure, our team is not like that.
Granit Xhaka went down, I think, 5 times for treatment. Didn't come off either.
I don't even want to get close to that conversation with the game that we had to play today.
Last one.
So you do two things. Does that prove your players will fight right to the end for the title?
It proves that we've done it today. Now we have to prove that we are able to do it against Brighton. It's going to be a completely different game, really demanding, and we're going to have to be at our best to beat them again. And we've done it for 10 months, 10 and a half months, I think, and we have to keep doing. And we are there, and now it feels very different to 10 days ago, and we have to now make sure that the momentum is there.
In all fairness, these two said the same. They'd get the boots on when they heard that atmosphere before the game. But Mikel Arteta using, again, the footage of the despair from a year ago. Is that clever management for you?
Well, it is, because it reminds you and it puts you back to where you were in that particular moment. And it was a time where we were playing well up to that point, and it was a test to go to Newcastle when it was raucous, when you know you're going to go to Newcastle, it's going to be tough. And they didn't do it. They fell away. You know, people saying that Arsenal, like, they choked this season and stuff like that. And I think that him showing them that has made them realise where they were, what they could have done, what they could have achieved, and they didn't. And this season they went there. And I think an even better Newcastle in a time when Newcastle are doing very, very well, and they really stood up to it.
Hurt is not a bad thing, as long as you learn from it.
Yeah.
In fact, it can be a good thing, because you never want to be hurt in the same way again. And there was no doubt about it in my mind. He was going to show his players that video of him giving it to them in the dressing room after the game, after what it cost them at the end of last season. Now he's used that to try and get a response to because of the pain that they felt last season. Now he's used that as a positive, and that's why I say it's sometimes not a bad thing, and it's worked for them today.
Yeah, and overall, the character, he talked about fire in the belly that was incredible today.
Well, it was, and it was needed, because if you saw the way Newcastle started that game, everybody saw it. They were very, very unlucky. The margins went for us today, the luck and the margins. Got a couple of decisions, and we was able to ride that luck and then go and take our own chances. But it's, again, in respects of the team and what they need to do, the age of the team, and the way they're learning, especially from last year. And a lot of people calling them chokers, calling them bottlers. But if you were a choker or bottler, then you'd go to Newcastle this season and you'd lose again. But they're not, they're learning, and that is all you can do.
Talking of fine margins, let's revisit the incident that charged emotions in the studio, shall we say, when Newcastle thought they had a penalty. You've had a bit of time to simmer down. Have you changed your opinion on it?
No, I haven't, no. The referee gives it. So he thinks that that's hit his arm or his hand, and it did. But what I'm still not 100% certain of is that it hit his leg first. Now, I've seen the angles. Now, for me to say that's 100%, I am certain, I'm guaranteeing you that's hit his leg first before his arm. I can't say that. And I've not seen any angle that shows me that. So for him to then be sent to the screen, and I know he's still got to make his mind up, it's still his decision, but he's been sent to the screen because of the doubt, and that the VAR think he's made an absolute howler, and he thinks he's made an absolute howler and a clear error that he's changed his mind. I've not seen any angles that suggest that to me. It may have hit his hand, or sorry, his leg before his hand. It might well have, but I'm not 100% certain that that's the case. And for them to have to change his mind, or he changed his mind, he's clear that is. I'm not.
And the referee actually watched that 6 times. Over.
7.
Sorry.
The thing about it is that if I'm going to be totally honest, and obviously people will say it's my bias, they'll probably say it's Al's bias, because certain people will see that it did come off the leg and saying they saw a Schultz move or whatever, and some people will say that it's come off the hand. It's you know, for me, the amount of times they looked at it is what makes it feel to me like, oh, there's a massive amount of we don't know. When I look at it, it feels to me like his hand is not in front of him where it could hit. It feels like it's behind him and he's moved it and it's hit the leg. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. But, you know, can I be 100% sure? Not with the angles, but that's what I saw.
Dan Gallagher, can you be 100% sure?
Well, I was talking to the producer when the incident happened, and once they showed the head-on angle, I said to the producer, this would be overturned. I felt it would be overturned. I didn't think it hit his hand.
How many times did you see it, Dan?
Well, that was the first time I see it from that angle. But I think you make a good point, right, is the more times they watch it, what it does, that clouds people's judgment, because they go, oh, well, he's got to watch it and watch it and watch it. Is it a clear and obvious error? Are they checking? But once I watched it from, as I said, that head-on angle, I felt that it hit his thigh. Not a penalty for me. I said to the producer, this will be overturned. Not this angle. I think this angle's different. It's the referee's view, really, I think is the best view. I wonder if the referee sees him. This is the angle. Once I saw that, I thought that hit his thigh and went
That's
up.
the one.
What?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you only think that you need one view of that, and you're certain, you're 100% that hit his leg before his hand.
But
I don't think
Alan, that's how we refereed, isn't it? You look at something...
Well,
and
that's not how they refereed it today, because he needed 7 views of it.
He did, but...
Why?
Well, I didn't have VAR. When I saw that incident, I thought that hit his thigh. For me, that clearly hits his thigh. So I'm not certain even it hits his hand at all, but even if it hits his hand, it's not going to be given as a penalty. once it hits his side and bounces
I'm gonna have to agree with Dermot in that respect. Which just from when you look at it from front on, guys, his arm is not in a position where it's where it can hit it, because his arm's behind and he moves it behind, and that's when it hits the leg, and that's where the confusion comes from. You look at it straight on, it doesn't touch the hand
But
at
the
all.
top and bottom of it is, righty, does that come into, for you, the clear and obvious error category? Because if it doesn't, that's Alan's point, then the on-field decision should stay the same.
No, it doesn't come into it for me. But
that's
That's
the argument.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Yeah, Al's got his argument. I've got my argument. But I think
you just agreed with Alan when I asked her the question.
Yeah, but he's my mate, and I feel for him. I just have to go with Derm from front on. I can't see where it's hit the arm. That's all it is, and I just don't like that. You know what? If I'm going to be totally honest, I wish it wasn't Newcastle and Arsenal, so then people wouldn't say that. Oh, it's Alan saying that because it's Newcastle. I'm saying it because it's Arsenal. I wish it weren't, because when you look at that, Al, look at his arm, right? Now look at his leg. Sit the leg, no arm. Was that better?
No.
Dave, did you see that?
I think it hits his thigh right.
When you look at it in that one, is there any way we can see that one again? When you look at it in that slow motion, the one before when it's straight on, right? You have to look at his
But look,
arm.
what I would say to you is, how come his arm then goes behind his back? Is it not the ball that hits his arm that takes the force?
Watch. There's the leg. Look where the arm is. Arm out the way. Did you see it?
No. Okay. I'm not certain. No.
And
that would be my point. If
this angle wasn't shown to the on-field ref either, this one.
Why isn't that shown to the?
Why isn't that
shown to the on-field referee? Dermot?
Because I think when they show the front angle, the referee's convinced that that's the one that proves it didn't hit his hand.
How can he be convinced if he takes 7 views to look at it? He can't be convinced, can he?
Well, he was convinced because he overrode it.
Why does it? Isn't that part of the problem? That if it's an absolute howler and a clear and obvious error, he's given it, so he thinks it's a handball. OK, that's fine. But then, for it to be overturned, it has to be clear. Now, we're sat here. You two think that it hits his leg first and so on. You've got 2 here. If it's that clear, then we're all going to agree on it. No?
I think you both make good points in so much as because they watched it, this is what creeps in. We've got this, well, is it a clear and obvious error? Is it a howler? But to give a penalty, if the VAR doesn't think it's hit his hand, and then the referee looking at the screen doesn't think it's hand, if you give a penalty for that is a howler for me.
You see, the thing is that, again, like I said to Steve, and Steve kind of shut me down a bit about you explaining it to us. I'd like the person who made the decision to explain it to us. That's what I would like, ideally, because then you're getting grilled here by Al, right?
I think in Howard Webb's defence, he has been more transparent than they've ever been before. Yeah. Certainly the regime beforehand. Agreed. And they're trying to make it even more clearer. From what I gather, they want to interact with pundits and managers and everyone else. So I understand that, and we're grateful and thankful for that. But we're not at the point yet as to hear from the VAR why, or the referee why they got to the decision.
Dermot, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers,
Been a busy man
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Thank you.
Player of the season, first of all. Who would your player of the season for Newcastle be, and why?
Tough one. Been some really impressive performances. Nick Pope's been very good. Botman's been excellent. Bruno has been superb. But I think Kieran Trippier has probably been the best of the bunch. He's marshalled that defence together. Captained Newcastle the vast majority of the time and done a great job and led by example.
Arsenal?
Odegaard. I think, Saliba before he got injured, them two have been magnificent. But I think Odegaard, given the captaincy, the 15 goals now, Premier League goals, the way he leads by example. He leads by example, not by, shouting him down. And he's been head and shoulders for me, the player of the season for us.
OK, this is an interesting one. The most improved player of the season, and why?
I would have to look at a player that has been there under the previous regime and has been coached really well by Eddie. And there's no doubt he's benefited by a new partner coming in there in Botman. So I would say Fabian Schär. He's been superb.
Arsenal?
Granit Xhaka, man.
New position, yeah.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka, what he's been through at the clubs in the time he's been there. You know, for all the managers that's had him, they've all used him. I think they've all used him not to his benefit. And the way under Mikel, he's just blossomed and thrived because he's further forward and he's such a massive influence in the dressing room and offensively, goals. You know, you see the tackle he made today. You know, the way he's just drove the team forward. Somebody that I've been very critical of in the past, but what he's done under Mikel and especially this season, you know, I just got nothing but love and respect for him. It's been magnificent.
5 goals, 7 assists. Signing of the season.
Again, Nick Pope's been brilliant, part of the best defence.
By the way, before I jumped in then,
no,
you hadn't decided
give it to Nick Pope.
All right. Right, you just cost Botman your award.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick Pope. Moment of the season.
The moment of the season is yet to happen for Newcastle.
Securing the top 4.
It's nearly there. It's very nearly there. And if it were to happen, what an unbelievable achievement it would be from Eddie and his team if they get into Champions League football, which it looks like they may well do.
If we can go on and do this, if this happens, then it's going to have to be Reece Nelson's last-minute goal.
Against Bournemouth.
Against Bournemouth. That's an unbelievable moment for the stadium, for the club, for everybody. For me, that was unbelievable.
So do you go to bed tonight with more hope there's a twist and turn left than you did when you woke up?
Without a shadow of a doubt. There's no way.
Is it pride or happiness?
Well, extremely happy, obviously, and then pride. And very proud of the players, the way they handle the environment. And you have to show, today we have to show a different kind of competitiveness and desire. And then the quality that we show to win the game.
Amazing game. I think who was watching enjoyed it with the atmosphere that it was on the stage was just beautiful.
Even when the atmosphere is against you like that, does it help fuel you before the start?
Oh, of course. It motivates you. It motivates you a lot. And if that scares you, I'm not sure if you are in the right place. Because as a kid, you dream to be in a stadium like this with this atmosphere to play a game of football. And that's the beauty of football. So that should motivate you a lot.
First thing we needed to do was control our emotions a little bit better than we did in that first half. You know, the penalty decision is a big one. I think it maybe rocked us more than it did them. We've performed so well through the majority of the season. The players have been incredible for us. The consistency's been there, the attitude and mentality's been there. Now we have to go another level, and that's always going to be hard, but that's the challenge we face in the Premier League.
Would you have fancied playing in that one?
To be fair, before the game, I felt that I would put my boots on today because the atmosphere was incredible, and that's what you want. You're playing for a championship. We guarantee second place. Let's go for it. Let's keep digging and digging and digging and see what is there.
It was great that this afternoon, was it? It had a little bit of everything, that game. It was end to end. It had a little bit of an edge to it as well in a great atmosphere. It was really enjoyable.
Two really good teams. Yeah, we love the energy, the intensity, but the quality of both sides, they've improved so much. It was a real pleasure to watch. Newcastle were actually unlucky. The performance was decent, but Arsenal at times were back to their brilliant self that we've seen. And the main reason was to try and play through the lines when they knew Newcastle were going to come after them. When you go to Newcastle, you're going to get pressed. This is in the first minute of the game. They don't disappoint. Wilson sets it off. Isak goes, the midfielder behind. Look, they're working really hard to try and get on the ball and make things happen. They've not won in the last 3 away games. This was a really brave thing to do. Now, on occasion, Newcastle got after them and won it back. That's going to happen. The thing is, when this does happen, they get away with it here. Decent block. Do you keep persisting? And they did. They kept believing in what they've done all season. And this is the difference now with Arsenal. They have complete belief in what they're trying to do. And Odegaard, in this position, you just watch him here. This is the way Arsenal set up. They stretch the pitch out. They work on this all the time. You've got the two midfielders who like to come and receive the ball off the back players. keeping the length, making the pitch big, and then Odegaard has the intelligence, the awareness. We've seen so often this season. For me, he's been their best player. Patience. When's the ball going to come out to me? And when it does, I've got the touch and the game intelligence to keep the move going. And he's also the one who knows when to take the risk. Is somebody going to be brave enough to try and make that through ball, to try and score a goal, to try and get somebody in behind? Watch this bit of movement, stay with him. Look, again, intensity, get the ball, then there's the pass. Beautiful. And Martinelli, you expect him to score.
But hey, I mean, you talk about, obviously, personality with Arsenal. You know, when you go to Newcastle, you have to compete. But you see here, they're in a double pivot. You know, you see Odegaard, if you see his position here, really clever. What he's doing there, he's asking questions, you know. He's saying to Botman, are you going to come with me or are you going to vacate that space in behind for the other two to run in behind? You see Saka there highlighted also. The chance actually comes from here. Saka's a great ball here. And, you know, maybe, you know, Saka should have done better. You know, if he goes a little bit low, maybe he scores. You see again here, the goal actually comes from this. You know, you see Odegaard is in this position. Just clever, just, you know, not really running. And it's a great strike. You've seen him do that before, but it's a great strike into the bottom corner. But everything Arsenal done today, you know, came through him. You know, his personality, you know, his quality on the ball, and, you know, someone that just continues to impress me.
And actually, you can't really define his position, can you? I mean, I know he wears an 8, and you could say he's functioning as an 8, but as you highlight there, his intelligence means you can't necessarily pin him down.
Arsenal are really clever on their build-up because they commit bodies forward, and they know that, you know, on the back line, at times it's going to be 3v3. But he's really clever because, like he said, Martinelli and Saka were, you know, keep their positions. They'll stay wide. But Odegaard, he's really clever. He'll get into positions where he can't get marked. And by doing that, you know, he can get on the ball and create, you know, score goals and create chances for others around him.
Just on how they're playing, we're fickle in the media, aren't they? They play the same way and they lose at Manchester City. People are going, well, should they have done something different at Manchester City? But you like the fact that they go, right, we're Arsenal, this is how we play, you worry about us.
I think all the best teams over recent decades in the Premier League have an identity of playing a certain way. The key is when you're under a bit of pressure or lacking a bit of confidence, sometimes within a game mixing it up temporarily, you don't go away completely from your philosophy, you just know when to give it a rest. 10, 20 minutes in a game where you might be under the cosh. I think Arsenal deserve great admiration this season for sticking with what they believe. We saw that today. They're not going to change. And I think that's the way forward for them to keep being competitive and keep progressing.
Well, I suppose where they can tweak it as well, not in how that's occasionally with personnel. So someone like Jorginho gives them something a little bit different to what Thomas Partey gives them.
I mean, he was fantastic today. You know, probably man of the match, to be honest. And I think that sort of performance goes under the radar. People don't really appreciate that sort of performance. I mean, in terms of touches, passes, and not just playing sideways and backwards, you know, being effective with your passes, you know, passing for a purpose. And, you know, I mean, when you look at the stats there, you know, energy levels, this distance covered. I thought that he was really, really good today. And he's a key player. And, you know, he's got his chance and he's definitely taken it.
Key position.
Yeah.
The bravery in that position is not always... You don't always get the ball. He did get it a lot today, but it's actually always asking for it to create the space behind you. And it's a lovely option he's got with him and Partey, because they do have different attributes. And we might even see them play together in certain games.
The post-match interviews were fascinating as well, because Arsenal relished that atmosphere, probably because they won and enjoyed it. Whereas Eddie Howe was saying, look, we carried a threat and they had chances, but we need to control our emotions in that atmosphere.
And sometimes it's not easy to control your emotions. I think for the home team, if anything, there's more pressure. As the away team, you go there, and I mean, as players, these are the stadiums you want to play in. You know, Jorginho, he said in his post-match interview about, you know, being a kid, and if you're scared to play in that sort of environment, then you're in the wrong game. It does lift you as a player, and like you said, these are the stadiums that you want to play in and show people how good you are.
They're starting to get a few options as well, aren't they? You know, Jacob Murphy's in at the moment instead of Almiron, and they had their midfield with Willock and Longstaff wasn't. They've got Alexander Isak was out wide, so they've started to get a little bit more, a few more options.
Let's be really clear about this. They have progressed tremendously and quicker than anyone thought they would, even the most avid Newcastle supporter. The squad is tremendous. It's getting better. They've got good competition. They've got good attacking options. They are a very good side, and they're only going to get better.
Right, now this may come as a shock. You're going to praise VAR.
I thought you were giving that to him.
Well, you can...
Do you know what? It is worth saying that when a referee gives a decision, very rarely you think there's going to be a change. Because usually you think they don't want to make the referee look silly and stick with him, and it has to be a high bar. This was the right decision. He gave the penalty. They took it to VAR. VAR told him to go and look at it on the screen, sorry, I should say, correctly, because Kiwior doesn't handle it, hits his thigh, and the right outcome was given. You have to give credit, Jay.
No, but I have to say that's a fantastic set piece, by the way.
Yeah.
We was actually surprised that, there was no Arsenal players on the edge of the box. Like, normally you'd have one of your players on the edge of the box, ball side of the corner that's been taken. So it's pretty obvious. Watching it, we knew, that it was gonna come into that sort of area. And then, I have to be totally honest, when I saw it, I did think it was a penalty. But then we
to be fair, Chappers was the one who spotted it, hit his thigh.
Wow,
Chappers jumped up
before the VAR.
God. Are you worried about your place on this show next
You could get a job on VAR.
Could get a job on VAR, oh my God, could you imagine? It keeps the title race alive, doesn't it? I mean, it's an obvious thing to say, but it just keeps it alive.
You think so?
Well, it does, doesn't it? At one point.
That's all they need to do.
That's what Mikel Arteta says. They've just got to be in a position where if anything happens with Manchester City, they can take advantage.
All they can do is take care of what they do, and that's win football matches. And the performance today was something different from Arsenal, to be honest. They competed, and it's a difficult place to go. Not many teams have gone to Newcastle and won. The fact that they've done that, it's a fantastic result. But that's all they can do is just keep winning.
Spain, quite frankly, hasn't relented at all here in North London at the Emirates Stadium. I'm Derek Ray, joined by Lee Dixon in the commentary position. And looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League coming right up. It's Arsenal up against Newcastle United.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, really looking forward to both teams producing entertaining football. Let's see if we get that.
Couldn't keep it. Arsenal move it forward with purpose and control. And he might be through here. Fisted clear. Might take the lead. There it is, and just the ideal start.
Well, here's the replay. It's a very neat piece of deception to get past the defender. And because he's on his own, he collects himself and he finishes it perfectly past the keeper.
The opening goal of the game then. Well, it could be on for him here. Aubameyang! And a goal! The quick 1-2! And they've turned this game on its head!
Well, here's the goal again, and he's just been caught napping, hasn't he? Had his pocket picked and rightly punished. Schoolboy stuff.
A chance to revisit the goal.
The coach must be delighted.
So 2-0 now. An awful lot of green space to run into. And it's Aubameyang. A goal! They're absolutely racing away with this. 3 to the good now.
Well, here's the replay. He's done really well to get his head up and pick out a teammate. And it all leads to a 2v1 on the keeper, which he really doesn't have any chance with. It's a great team goal.